Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to announce the opening of the special session. I am Dr. Han-Jun Kim, President of Yonsei University and moderator of this special session. The theme of today's special session is a strategic nurturing project for world-class university. In particular, the Korean government has been actively promoting the WCU project since last year. I sincerely hope that we can share and discuss many ideas during today's special sessions. In this session, we will have 3 presentations and then discussions with 3 panelists. Each presentation will take 15 minutes and 5 minutes will be allowed for each panelist. Now, it's my honor to introduce the speakers and panelists. The first speaker is Dr. Ralph I. Heller, President of ETH Zurich. As a leading global university, ETH Zurich ranked 20th this year in the Times QS World University Ranking and 23rd in the academic ranking of World University of Shanghai Jiaotong University. The second speaker for this session is Dr. Atsushi Seike, President of Keio University, Japan. As you all know, Keio University is a renowned private university in Japan and actively collaborates with Korean universities, especially Yonsei University. Since Dr. Seike has a strong background in labor economics, I expect he will bring up many interesting issues during his presentation. The third speaker is Dr. Young-Chan Bae, Director of the Directorate for Research Promotion at the National Research Foundation of Korea. And he is also currently a professor at Hanyang University. Apart from his many university duties, Dr. Bae has also served in many governmental committees in science and education. To continue, our first discussant is Dr. Georges Haddad, Director of Higher Education at UNESCO. He was a professor at the University of Paris, first Panthéon-Sorbonne, and was president from 1989 to 1994. The second discussant is Dr. Guk-Sun Hong, head of the Department of Material Science and Engineering at Seoul National University. Dr. Hong previously served as director of Seoul National University R&D Foundation. He is currently WCU Project Director of Hybrid Materials at Seoul National University and chairman of 155 WCU projects nationwide of WCU Council. I look forward to his valued remarks during discussion. The last panelist is Dr. John Wood from England. He received his PhD in Warwick University, and his major is molecular biology. And he is professor at University College London. Now, our first speaker, President Eichler of ETH3, will give his presentation. The title is ETH3 in Transition Between Traditional and Modern. Please.
Yes, I'm very pleased that I have the opportunity to talk at this famous HR forum, and I like to thank the organizer to giving me the opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, participants of this global HR forum, what are the challenges for university management within global competitiveness? Universities are currently undergoing profound change processes. On the one hand, the global problems of the future, such as climate change and aging population and energy, call for interdisciplinary approaches to solutions and force changes to the scientific culture. On the other hand, global research networks led to tough competition to the best talents. And this problem can only be countered successfully by enhanced international orientation and an increase in financial resources. ETH Zurich in Switzerland seeks to reaffirm its leading position by treading an autonomous path between traditional and modern, by implementing the required changes in a consolidated manner on the basis of the key strategic aspects. However, organizational development alone will not be enough to deal with this phase of change management. The other unavoidable, decisive factor is the transformation of the academic mindset. Switzerland, 150 years ago, was in a similar position as Korea in the 1960s. It was a poor country, and the founding fathers of universities wanted to educate engineers to build the country with the railways, with the bridges, with the tunnels. So they created ETH Zurich, but there were not enough talents in the country, so they imported faculty and students. So this university was founded from the beginning as an international university, which is still the case. 60% of the faculty are foreigners, and 60% of the PhD students come from abroad. As a small country, we of course don't have so many talents. We are not more stupid than others, but we are just fewer people. The rate of development has also affected today the universities. They are confronted by new requirements in the teaching activities and by the appearance of global problems such as climate change and other environmental hazards. Such worldwide phenomena are usually associated with considerable socio-economic risks and are extremely complex. Any solution to such problem will have to be based on properly substantiated scientific principles, taking into account the various influence factors and their associated fields of research: political, economic, scientific, technical, and sociological. The only way to cope with these major social challenges is by teamwork between outstanding specialists from the various areas of research. Science and technology are going through a paradigm change, which has a profound effect on our university. The social transformation associated with these changes also affect the mentality and the structures of the university. Here the adaptation and change processes ought not to be simply reacting to external change processes, but be actively developed as part of the strategic management activity. This undertaking has not turned out to be easy, however, in light of the tightrope act being performed by the universities these days between the traditional and the modern. Change management in organizational development sense can hardly be described as having been tried and tested already in academic arena. So the following remarks should therefore be regarded as a review along the path towards the correct future position of our highly diversified universities, rather than a full-grown prescriptions. I think the core function of a university are teaching, educating, research, and transfer of knowledge to the society and industry. Pure research forms the basic of solutions to major problems of the future. In addition to its research activity, the ETH, the university, also contributes in other pivotal ways to the benefit of industry and society. For example, it trains highly qualified engineers and scientists, most of whom work in management role within private industry after their studies. And previously, this would have been for large companies, but we observe today that more and more of our engineers and scientists go to small and medium-sized companies, and this plays a more and more important role. In a big society, you are a pure engineer. In smaller companies, you are engineers, but you also have to do the human relations. You have finance officers, so you have to know a much more global view. This technical university also makes a noticeable contribution to the reinforcement of the innovating strengths of a country through technology transfer of students to industry, but also more and more encourage people to found their own companies. For instance, we have managed in the last years over 20 companies every year founded by our students, startup companies. So we have to help them make business plan with experienced business people, how to make a reasonable business plan. It is not enough to just have a new invention, but you also have to understand the market. So our engineers have to understand both for this complex task. Our barrier to interdisciplinary collaboration is also presented by the human mind. All first-rate researchers want recognition, striving to leaders of their subject with eminence and fame. As a result, there seems no option but to build up a good career in a particular discipline and become a champion in a discipline. Such well-established professors can then, after they are champion in a discipline, share their honor and distinction with colleagues from other specialized interdisciplinary projects. In fact, they undergo a much-needed transformation back to the generalist we seek once more. So again, first become a champion in a discipline, and later on learn the language of other disciplines. Traditional university structures are somewhat inadequate to their approach to interdisciplinarity. The organizational separation into departments oriented towards a classical discipline often gets in the way of this collaboration. In addition, the current evaluation system is still, the peer review is directed along the lines of specialized disciplines. Those who publish more papers or whose names appear first in the list of authors earn the highest reward. However, collaborative work and publications are associated with a considerable increase in coordination, communication cost, and on large interdisciplinary projects. In such cases, therefore, the scientific culture must change so that teams, than rather individuals, can receive career-relevant rewards. And what we do, we found competence center on specific topics and give some extra money for these interdisciplinary work with some of the different departments work together to give some incentive, and incentive was always also some research money. Other challenges affect structural changes in university. It's the globalization, in particular the issue of internationalization. We must attract the best people from around the world in order to maintain the competitive nature. Competition is fierce for the best talents, whether they be students or teaching staff. A good university has not only the best teachers, but it attracts also the best students. And we need to tackle the necessary global orientation on scientific challenges, but these will move forward far too slowly without any incentive, which are usually additional finance. And as a government-funded university, it's very difficult to grow because the government budget will not grow or will only slowly grow, so one needs to find extra financial resources. And in Europe, we don't have yet the tradition of donations of rich people and companies, and this is also a cultural change which takes time, and we are working on it, that donations and to accelerate the transitions with money is also an incentive for people for charities. And this is the reason why ETH Zurich also wants to grow, to have at least 20% more professors within the next 10 years financed by these donations. Let me come to the quality of the professors and students is of course crucial. How do you attract the best professors and the best students? This is also a self-perpetuating process. If there are already good professors there, then it's more easy to attract other good ones. If I ask, why did you come to our university? It's because I will meet excellent colleagues in neighboring fields, so it's already important to have good ones already there, and then you can attract new ones from other countries and other fields. I want to give a warning on the ranking of university. Students look at the rankings, they want to go to the best universities, but if all the universities in the world have the same aim to be top in a particular ranking, then the diversification of the university will diminish. And I think it's also important that we stay diverse in a university, because nobody knows what the future will bring, and nobody knows which field will make it in the future. So one has to look very broadly and also take risks that maybe one makes the wrong choice and has to correct later on. So diversity is something I think it remains important. So the following is a summary of the activities that are most powerfully affected by the changes in content and structure. The implementation of a sustainable principle in the department, it means in the minds of people. Visionary projects like a sustainable campus, where you demonstrate not only in words, but also in facts that you have the best buildings which produce energy, which saves energy, which reduces CO2 emissions. And we have students' projects also for a mountain hut at 3,000 meter height, where all these issues are especially difficult to achieve. Globalization of the competition, the international orientation, creation of incentives like scholarships for excellence. Increased cooperation with industry, technology transfer, public-private partnerships. It turns out that more and more companies like to have their research lab on the campus of the university, have close interactions, so you need space, you have to create space. And of course, professionalization of finance and control structure and the infrastructure. I think I come to the end. The oldest and most unfaltering organizational structures in our history, at least in Europe, is the Catholic Church and universities. These are really not the ones which have the fastest changes in their structure. Nevertheless, we expect from them the innovation. So the factor is crucial to change management in universities. There are examples that the presidents wanted to change too fast and failed because the professors were not all on board. So one has to do it carefully, but with power, but of course you have to your army on board, otherwise you will fail as a management. So my time is was over. Let me stop with a remark which are obvious. People makes a difference. The university exists in a constant state of change. In this respect, an ideas-based university is barely different from the world of commerce and industry. In the end, our people makes a difference as they do anywhere else. This is why the choice of professors and the choice of students and the management personnel is such a crucial act. Another key factor in success is the provision of a sphere of freedom for the staff, for a university must personify the full diversity of intellectual and cultural life and provide the associated academic freedom of teaching and research, which is a privilege in a society can give to the universities, and we should be thankful for that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Eichler, for your excellent presentation. In order to save time, I will summarize his presentation. However, we have much to learn from ETH Churi regarding university reform and its challenges during the changing process. And I confirmed that the internationalization of university is really essential through his presentation. And we heard that the success history of Switzerland University to lead its national economy. Next, President Seike of Keio University will give his presentation. The title is, I'm not sure, but we discussed the title during the lunch. Responsibility of World-Class University on the Global Sustainability Crisis.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind introduction, Dr. Kim. First of all, I deeply appreciate for being given this opportunity to talk about the role or responsibility of university under the current global situation. The role of university as a research and educational institution is very clear, is to advance education and research, and in doing so, make a contribution to the improvement of society, both domestically and internationally. And a world-class university, therefore, achieves these goals at the highest possible level. Based on this basic premise, I think we can generally say that there are two requirements for being a world-class university. The first requirement is that the university needs to make a significant contribution in terms of education and research towards the current global problems. The second requirement is the university needs to have a strong framework which allows information to be gathered and disseminated so that it can make this contribution. I would like to share my thoughts on this topic and also share what Keio University has been doing to meet these two requirements. The world is currently facing many serious problems on a global scale, as Chancellor Schrader told this morning. While the problems themselves are diverse, I think they all essentially related to the problem of sort of sustainability of anything. The problem of global warming, for example, relates to the sustainability of environment. The depletion of fossil fuels relates to the sustainability of resources. Infectious disease relates to the sustainability of life itself, and the problems of low birth rate relate to the sustainability of the population or the sustainability of the nation itself. Of course, nuclear issues relate to the sustainability of global peace and security. And the recent economic crisis relates to the sustainability of the global credit system. And domestically, many, developed countries have the problems relating to the sustainability of social security systems under the aging population. So in order to solve these problems, I believe that we need to have both in-depth expert analysis and an interdisciplinary approach. A world-class university is one that is able to synthesize its various strengths across many fields to find the solutions for world crisis of sustainability. And as time when our ability to sustain ourselves across various areas has been brought under question, it is important that we foster individuals with the ability to carry out such research and be able to apply it effectively. The problem of sustainability, in other words, cannot continue to be dealt with as it has been in the past. So in order to do this, it is necessary for us to foster individuals who can understand new situations and are able to solve problems based on this understanding. The first thing we should require our world-class university is so that it contributes to the global problems of sustainability through the synthesis of its research strengths. And this can be achieved by fostering individuals who, in time of change, can think for themselves. The second requirement for university in today's world is to be accessible by creating a framework so that the information can be internationally gathered and disseminated. And this can be achieved by accepting large number of exchange students and searching extensively for top international faculty talent. At the same time, universities need to actively send students and faculty to institutions abroad. So through these, exchange of students and faculties, they are each other inspiring, and they can collaborate on some of the global problems that I mentioned earlier. This is a perspective that the Keio University has always taken when engaging in its activities. Keio University has a 151 years of history. In fact, this is the longest of any private university in Japan, and was established on the founding principle of our founder, Yukichi Fukuzawa, who emphasized nurturing individuals with a spirit of independence and self-respect so that they would develop into wise and capable leaders. Keio University strives to nurture capable individuals with the skills to engage in research for advancing technology and solving global issues. Keio University's strengths lie in diverse fields such as humanities, social sciences, medicine, and engineering science. As a testimony of this, the university has been the recipient of major government fundings such as the 21st Century Center of Excellence program. Many of these programs have been resulting in the establishment of several research and educational centers in Keio, and they include the global COE programs, on the Education and Research Center for Stem Cell Medicine, or the Center for Advanced Research on Logic and Sensitivity, or the raising market quality, meaning integrated design of market infrastructure, and so on. And our founder, Yukichi Fukuzawa, lived in a time when Japanese society were also experiencing a great change to its structure, and he emphasized the importance of the science, or the scientific attitude of scholars. He means thinking scientifically and empirically encompassed the thinking for oneself. So this means identifying problem that needs to be solved, and hypothesizing as to the cause and effect, and objectively testing the hypothesis and drawing conclusions. So basically, this is the basis for solving problems. So Keio has made efforts towards gathering and disseminating information internationally by expanding its university-wide and faculty-based agreements with institutions abroad. In fact, collaborative activities with other universities include the annual Japan-Korea Millennium Meeting, which started in 2002, and it's attended by 4 universities from Japan and Korea, including Keio, Waseda, and Yonsei Korai. The global financial crisis has had an enormous impact on the management of Japanese universities. In recent years, most universities have considerable investment portfolios whose earnings they use for the operation on the university. While tuition fees and government subsidies are the main sources of revenue for sort of day-to-day teaching and research activities, it is a revenue from investment that provide crucial funding for the scholarship and new initiatives, including campus development. So Keio universities also heavily depended on the earnings from investment to do that. But unfortunately, Keio too was also hit very hard when the financial markets dropped. Universities are all faced with the same question of how we can provide a high-level research and education while facing increased financial pressures. And one lesson that the Keio and other universities have learned from the financial crisis is that taking a risk for high investment earnings can leave us vulnerability to a very big loss. However, without taking any risks, universities are not able to gain the necessary revenue from their investment for a scholarship and other activities. So we need to carry out more sort of stringent and rigid investment risk management to do that. Let me now come back to the role of universities, or role of world-class universities, and how they should be striving to make a social contribution. I think that universities should focus on the areas they can make contributions in some extent. I mean, which area we can take advantage of our strengths in order to contribute to our society. For example, universities in Japan and Korea, it happened to be, having the same experiences. The two countries experiencing acute aging of their populations could work together to solve issues relating to the aging problems. And I will talk about this in a little bit detail very shortly in the next plenary session. And I think that a potential of collaboration in that field is very high, in particularly among universities that poses researchers of very high caliber and proven result in the natural sciences and the social science and the humanities, fields which directly relate to the aging population problems, there. And I'm sure if we could produce a sort of aging society model from our joint research, it could be an important tool for the policy making for government in many developed countries, including European countries. And likewise, it would also be a useful reference for developing countries, which will be experiencing aging population sooner or later. And now, this brings me back to what it means to be a world-class university. At the beginning of my presentation this time, I said that a world-class university was one that advances education and research, and in doing so makes a contribution to the improvement of society in the highest possible level. I would like to propose that in the current climate, when the universities are facing various challenges, we can best move forward by working cooperatively rather than competitively. And in doing so, we can maintain a high standard of education and research and fulfilling our responsibility as universities to make a positive contribution to the society, both domestically and internationally. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Presenter Seige. And until now, we consider global competitiveness whenever we are talking about world-class university. But he pointed out another aspect of a world-class university. The key point is responsibility and contribution. Thank you. Next, Dr. Young-Chan Bae of the National Research Foundation of Korea will give his presentation. The title is National Project Towards Building World-Class University. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure for me to give a talk in a special session of Global HR Forum 2009. The main subject of today's talk would be National Project to Build World-Class University in Korea. Today, I'd like to give a brief information and outline of Korea's WCU project, and I'll show what the aim of the project is pursued. The Times Higher QS World University Rankings has taken place worldwide every year since their first appearance in 2004. They reported that the top universities are in the English-speaking world. The report also says that top universities are active in generating new technology and ideas across a wide range of subject areas. They concluded that world top universities strongly believe that ideas without borders as excellence goes global. And Korean government noticed this point and started a new project called National Project to Build World-Class University, or shortly WCU project. The WCU project was started on the initiative of Ministry of Education, Science and Technology called MEST. And Korean government is trying to pull up the university level of Korea to the world class. So MEST declared that we are looking forward to pursuing the ambitious agenda called World Class University Project. And please take a look on this screen, and then I'll I'll use this screen and please take a look at that. And today's talk is under the following the categories: background, major objectives, and so on. It doesn't. So, the background of the project. Sorry. Oh, okay. So I didn't see this. Yeah. The project consists of three basic ideas. First is to generate creative and practical knowledges. And the second is to upgrade the competitiveness of Korean universities. And we believe that the university quality depends on the quality of professors. And lastly, to attract an inflow of top-notch scientists as a means of reversing Korea's brain drain. We have two major objectives. The first one is to promote research in key growth-generating fields and nurture next-generation human resources. We support new promising fields in basic sciences and interdisciplinary studies. The second objective is to nurture world-class research-oriented Korean universities. We invite world top-class foreign faculties and collaborate research with Korean scholars. The research areas that we focus are as following: the new growth-generating fields that will spearhead national development. For example, NBIC fusion technology and disruptive technology, biopharmaceutics, or human resources and organizational development. Especially, we give preferential treatment to the interdisciplinary studies. And we have three different types of projects. And the first type is as follows. The main issue, first type, is establishing new academic departments or specialized majors. So we invite foreign faculties and participate Korean scholars and do their activities so as follows. So the major activities will be collaborate research and share labs and teach students of graduate or undergraduate levels. And purpose of this project is, as I said before, and we need new academic departments. So one important condition is that the invited foreign faculties should be full-time faculty positions during the limited period of stay. So type 1 is emphasized for the R&D and teaching. So R&D here is the collaborating the research with Korean faculties and foreign faculties who are invited. The contract period for foreign faculties as follows. And the minimum 3 years of contract is required. And we have some requirements like this. 50% of foreign faculties should be invited in the first year, and the rest of them will be in the second year. And we have all levels of faculties are invited. So first, assistant professor level and lower, or associate professor level or higher. So we have a full-time faculty, associate level, and assistant professor level. And we have three different positions of the faculties are invited. And also the associate professor level and higher, they should stay as a full-time faculty members for a minimum of 1 semester per year. Then here the semester means that the university's regular academic semester. So, but we exclude summer and winter sessions. For example, in Korea, the summer session will start in the mid-July through the August, and winter session start the mid-December through the next year's the end of February. Here is type 2. Type 2 is more oriented to R&D program. So purpose is as follows. We invite foreign faculties to develop growth engine technologies and create interdisciplinary studies at existing departments. So you don't have to establish new department. You need just use the existing department. And the position for the foreign faculties, we have two different positions available. First, full-time faculty position, and second is key research faculty positions. And contract period of the foreign faculties are as follows. Most of them are same as type 1, but except that all foreign scholars must be invited in the first year. That's the difference between type 1 and type 2. And the research team composition is as follows. This is all up to the team or universities. So we don't give any the guidelines or so. So or any teams, they can compose the teams like one foreign faculties and 1 through to 4 Korean scholars, whatever. It's all up to the teams. Now I'll talk about the third type. The purpose of the third type program would be just we invite distinguished world-class scholars. Now, for example, first to invite globally renowned scholars to teach and do research for a certain period of time, or to invite pioneering high-tech engineers to lead R&D activities in Korea. And positions should be the part-time faculty at the universities, and rewards is based on performance, based on compensation systems. Research areas are new growth generation field as shown before. And the third type is the contract period is the minimum 1-year contract and 2 months of stay is required. Now I show the financial support for the invited foreign faculties. Annual salary, type 1 and 2 will give the maximum of $300,000 US per year, and type 3 is up to $100,000 US per year. But this show the how the Korean government is emphasizing this process, this project. So this is for just examples. A research grant for both foreign and Korean scholars are like this, and we support also lab facilities and staffs also. And application requirement, I'll say just one point thing. The important requirement is that all foreign faculty members and researchers should be employed at a university or a research institute at the time when the application is submitted to. We have three processes of evaluation. First one is panel review. 10 experts in related fields are review the proposals, and the ratio of the panel review is 60% of the total score. And the international peer review is international peers review the major papers and research proposals, and the ratio is 30% of the total score. And comprehensive panel review conducted by the WCU Project Management Committee. But this does not apply to type 3 project, though. And the ratio is 10% of the total score. And finally, we have 2 different rounds. The first round was November of 2008, and 128 teams are selected. And from that, we invited 281 foreign faculties. And in the second round, we selected the April of 2009, and selected like 27 proposals and 64 foreign scholars. And therefore, from WCU project, we all 345 worldwide level of faculties are invited. The total 155 teams are supported by the government, and we spent about $130 million US for the total project. And this is just a reference for the proposals, which selected in type 1. Oops, it doesn't go. It's fine, actually. Yeah, as we say, we Korean envisions a rich environment where world-class researchers build world-class research department that leads to the creation of world-class universities. We also, all global scholars of excellence are more than welcome to take part in the significant challenges. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Bae, for your introduction of Korean World-Class University Project. Those who are in charge of WCU programs are sitting here, and they want to hear the evaluation or the comment of the program. So I look forward to active discussion regarding this presentation letter. Now I'm going to change the tone of discussion because Director Harder has some stomach problems, so I should change its tone. We'll have Dr. Hong.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for pointing out many issues and providing us with appropriate plans. Although WCU program has given us many achievements, the biggest achievement would have to be the fact that the program have invited and actually brought foreign scholars into the Korean education and research area. Finally, allow them to form a leading platform. Until now, Korea has been more familiar with exporting resources to other countries, as it is visible in the case of the Korean wave. We create our own culture and make it known to others. It is easy to see this trend even in sports. We send our soccer players to the Premier League and our golf players abroad and see them thrive. Similarly, it is not much difference in the field of R&D. And so our aim is to develop new technology and become leading countries in intellectual property. We are proud that we have been able to make it happen by ourselves. However, as I mentioned before, it is a great shift in the paradigm that we have successfully brought foreign scholars considering the limitation of our resource and manpower. I'd like to continue a little more. Korea has been trying to reach the standard of leading countries by increasing the input amount in R&D and nurturing talent. But now, we have the opportunity to obtain the platform for research and education. Through these foreign scholars, we are able to naturally learn how they think and learn their cultures through cooperation and R&D and education. Still, what truly valuable are not the collaboration research and result, but the lessons we can get from their attitude and way of thought. Thank you.
Thank you for your brief discussion. Dr. John Wood, it's your turn.
Thank you very much for the chance to comment on these presentations. I'm privileged to be one of the early members of the WCU program, having first arrived here in Seoul National University in September. And I was struck by a number of comments made in the presentations, particularly the plea for cooperativity so eloquently made by Professor Seike. The problems that we all face are global, the problems of global warming, infectious diseases, and so on. So they impinge on every country within the world. And advances in science over the last century or so have very frequently been international. So there have been collaborations with individuals, talented individuals from a number of different countries that have made fundamental discoveries that have changed all our lives. So I'd like to applaud the foundation of the WCU program, which I think will definitely give some advantages to Korean science, but will also help foreign scientists who will be interacting with the extremely talented people that are here already. And what we want to really promote is an international view rather than an institutional tribal view, which is tempting to indulge in because we all feel a loyalty to the institutions that employ us, and that's entirely correct. But we must never lose sight of the international problems that we all face and the fact that we are all one as humanity and that our research should be dedicated towards global endeavors. So I hope that comment is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, our director Haggard have not returned yet, so I want to give you a chance to make a question or comment from audience. First, and after he will be back, he will continue to discuss. Do you have any questions or comment? Okay. Please use microphone and identify yourself first.
Thank you very much for a great presentation from many honored speakers. I'm Ho-Jun Kim, an undergraduate student at Busan National University. I agree with world-class university plan that is ambitious plan and enhance our research and synthesize to find the solution world problems. But I think education at world-class universities are a little bit underrated compared to its research. So since it's hard to be assessed quantitatively, so I'd love to hear that if you have some know-how to manage balance between education and research at universities. So maybe president of KU University or ETH University would help me to find this. Thank you.
Who responded?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kim. I think it's a good question. It has been always a problem, research versus education or research versus teaching, particularly among faculties. And as you know, recently, the competition among researchers are getting keen and keen. So, frankly speaking, many of faculties, particularly young faculties, are much interested in writing papers than preparing lectures, unfortunately. However, if these young faculties are getting older, like me, they tend to, put more effort or energy on teaching because they realize, of course, on one hand, for example, tenure professors already got a pretty, stable position, so they no longer worry about, their employment stability. And then also, middle-aged professor became to think that, not only doing their own research, but also, transforming or providing their knowledge or skills to, younger generation would be important. So, of course, it's a balance. But as a president of university, I can't say young faculties don't use too much time for your research because I know, they need to survive their academic world. But once they got tenured, I think I usually provide, advise them to pay more attention to teaching. That's my, quick answer.
Thank you.
Short remark, we distinguish between teaching and education. At the beginning of the study, we teach the student, they have to learn what we know in science from 200 years ago, so a lot of mathematics and physics in classes. And then the second half of the study, it's education by the students participate in the research. So the student project, maybe even student teams, forming a team and participate in the research, and in this way they are educated up to the top.
Thank you. Dr. Harder, are you okay?
A little bit, but maybe I could say something 2 or 3 minutes, and just to give you UNESCO's point of view concerning world-class university. Of course, UNESCO pays full attention to this ranking system and world-class university. But the mission and role and duty of UNESCO is to address education and higher education at all levels, and especially in support of developing countries. So it's important to understand that all higher education institutions, which are not top-ranked or world-class institutions, have their role to play for human, social, and economic development at all levels, national level, regional level. So the mission of UNESCO is not to focus mainly and uniquely on world-class university, but to help each higher education institution to accomplish its missions and its duties with respect to quality, relevance, and service to the community and to individual people. I would say that the main duty of world-class university when they belong to this top 20, top 100, is to bring their support to other universities, to cooperate, to be involved in international cooperation, transfer of knowledge, research development for sustainable development, for human and social sustainable development. And being a world-class university gives you a responsibility which is beyond your ranking and your recognition. It's your duty to cooperate, to collaborate, and to be part of the global society, which deserves all respect for all institutions accomplishing their work in quality and relevance. I would finish with an anecdote, which is important to my point of view. UNESCO organized in July a second World Conference on Higher Education and Research, which mobilized all stakeholders, all actors, all institutions in the world to bring their voices and their support. And during this World Conference, we had an interview, myself and a World Bank leader and myself, with medias and journalists. And one of the questions was concerning world-class university. What is your, your model of a world-class university? And what is a model of a respectful university? The World Bank leader, he's a good friend of mine, so I can tell what he said. He said, if I want to make a comparison with football game, a world-class university should be compared with Manchester United football team, Barcelona, Real de Madrid, and Milan AC. Milan AC, I don't know, okay. So the journalist turned to me and said, Mr. Haddad, for you, what is your model of a university? And just to be provocative, I said my model is, I'm sure you never heard of this team and this region, Criquebeuf football team. And Criquebeuf football team, nobody knew, and even the journalists dare not ask the question, where is Criquebeuf, what does it mean, where is it located? Then the day after, she called me and she said, I'm sorry, I've looked in all the football team ranking, etc., etc. I don't find Cricbuff. Where is Cricbuff? And Cricbuff is a small village in Normandy where I have a farm myself. And every day, every weekend I go. I love to look and to attend football game played by Cricbuff with other villages. What does it mean? It means if you want to be Manchester United, you need to have small village team, small community team, which prepares the young generation, which trains the young generation. If you want to play to Manchester, you have to play at the beginning of your life in small teams, in small community teams, in small village team. So being Manchester United needs that you must have respect for all this team which prepare the young footballers to come when they have this quality to the elite. So we should not separate. It's a complex system where every university, every team deserves respect, consideration, and cooperation. So a world-class university should not be excluded from the whole system. On the contrary, it has a fundamental duty to respect those who irrigate, who feed their capacity to attract students, professors, researchers. So let's have respect for Cricbuff football team as well as Manchester United football team. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Haddad. And the headquarters wants to close this session here. And I would like to thank all the speakers and panelists of today's special session. Since we are short on time, I will only accept one question or comment from audience. Yes.
I'm
ready first. Yeah.
It's okay, thank you very much. I'm Zarida from Malaysia. Well, practically in Malaysia, every university, be it public, more of a public university, as well as the private university, are going for ranking. But being a person in the academic who's supposed to be in charge of the academic affairs, I echo what my colleague has mentioned just now. Throughout the session, we are talking about research as the inting subject to push for world-class university. But on the other hand, I do agree with Dr. Georges Haddad, where we have to contribute to the mankind in terms of the accessibility of education to at all level of mankind. So how do you divide? Because for what is happening is in Malaysia is that the same person will have to deliver in teaching, at the same time they have to perform the research. And frankly speaking, to afford 300,000 USD to bring in a world-class renowned professor to maybe one university in Malaysia, it will suck up the whole money for Malaysia. So it's really a difficult situation, yet we want to be in the team towards going for a higher ranking. So the question is that, how do you really go about promoting that teaching be part of the world ranking parameters? If it's not at par, probably some stand, so that even the young one should be able to be a good teacher, committed, and with the 3 C's that has been highlighted in the panel plenary talk this morning. So that's my question.
Okay. Who is going to respond to that question? Professor Haddad?
It's difficult to respond, but I will speak my experience as former president of Sorbonne University. And you know that being a researcher and a teacher is something which is separate, and sometimes it was my duty to ask very talented researchers not to teach because they were very bad teachers. They were very good in research, but destroying the confidence of the student. Some are good in teaching and less in research, or you cannot be a researcher throughout life. You know, it's impossible. I can tell you from my mathematical background that at the age of 50, I realized that I was not as productive as I could have been at the age of 40, 45, etc. So we have to be careful not to be destroyful in the confidence of the teaching personnel and the faculty staff. Being a researcher, you can be a researcher successful 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. Some could do till death. My master was a wonderful mathematician till his very last day, but he was privileged because he was a genius. It was at another level. So I think the duty of a university is to find an equilibrium, a balanced equilibrium between the teaching profession, the teaching activity, and the research activity. The only thing which is for me fundamental is that all university teachers should keep in contact with research, not being productive in research because it's impossible to be originally productive all your life. Those are liars. You cannot, unless you are a genius. But keeping in touch with research, which means that you are always at the forefront of the new ideas, the new models, the new problem, and you can feed your teaching with this innovation coming from research. Keeping in touch with research, being a researcher, of course, but when you finish or you have not this capacity, being totally in touch with research, this is the role of a university through research center, etc., to support the capacity of teachers to accomplish this type of duties. But it's a complex and very subtle problem.
Thank you. I'm sorry to close this session here. As today's session draws to an end, I'd like to once again thank the speakers and discussants.